qualities of a hero. Aqua-man Reborn. Hero, a mythological or legendary figure, often of divine descent, endowed with great strength or ability, an illustrious warrior, a person admired for achievement and noble qualities, one who shows great courage. Aquaman first dives onto the scene as a comic book hero during the Second World War, making his debut in issue number 73 of DC Comics' Fun Comics series that released in November of 1941. Here the leader of the underworld saves a young maiden from the depths of the ocean, only to later sink a submarine filled with explosives and disappear into the sea. Aquaman has changed quite a bit over the 78 years he's been accepting the challenge from evil. So let's compare his traits. We will focus on the original 1970s Aquaman and the reborn 2016 version from the Batman vs. Superman movie. Let's look at the traits that we will be analyzing. His appearance and suit, the harpoon hand, the ability to fly, and survival on land. Like many folks, this is the Aquaman that I remember most, more of a comic relief than a superhero who talked to dolphins. This misplaced trait by creators in 1970 cursed Aquaman with 56 years of ridicule and disrespect, and had the creators exploring every avenue to undo the damage that had made Aquaman the laughingstock of the comic book world. After many major overhauls of the character, which resulted in many failed attempts at trying, Aquaman finally earned his crown and returned to his rightful place as King of the Underworld with his 2016 rebirth, which has catapulted the once useless fish-talking punchline into quite possibly the most anticipated superhero release movie to date. In addition, Aquaman puts his name at the top of the food chain with his reconsidered super abilities to topple the once all-powerful Superman. The harpoon hand. There are several stories as to how Aquaman lost his arm and gained a harpoon. Originally eaten off by piranhas and later cut off by himself in an attempt to save his son, Aquaman has most recently claimed to have lost it in a timeless battle with Black Manta. Regardless of the how, the why was to regain respect from the public through toughness, in hopes of regaining their 35 cents an issue. I like the self-inflicted story myself. It shows he's selfless and determined. The ability to fly. For years we were led to believe that Aquaman could fly. Now we know that Aquaman's muscle strength is 10 times stronger than the average human, a result of living life in the sea. Instead of flying, it's more of a super leap, similar to the Hulk. So we can conclude that this clip is another failed attempt at redemption. Survival on land. It was first assumed that Aquaman was limited to 1 hour on land before he was forced to return to the sea. Otherwise, he would lose his power and eventually die. In the New 52 comics, Aquaman's father was human, thus making Aquaman half human and eliminating his only weakness, and still running the ocean with an iron fist. 14 qualities of a hero. Sacrifice. The forfeiture of something highly valued for the sake of one that is considered to have a greater value or claim. In the October 1994 issue, The Beginning of Tomorrow, Aquaman uses his letter A belt buckle to sever his arm and free himself from chains in hopes of saving his child that ultimately dies in a lava pit. Determination. A fixed intention or resolution, a firmness of purpose or resolve. In the July 1978 issue number 62, And the Walls Came Tumbling Down, Aquaman begins the hunt for Black Manta and seeks vengeance for Arthur Jr.'s death. Loyalty. The feeling of allegiance or the act of binding oneself to a course of action. In issue number 16, Peace in Our Time, Aquaman shows his loyalty to Justice and the Justice League by siding with the Justice League against his own underworld people that were preparing for battle. Courage. That firmness of spirit and swell of soul which meets danger without fear. In Volume 7, 23.1, Black Manta cuts off our hero's arm, but Aquaman shoves a harpoon in his nub and continues to fight. Dedication. A selfless devotion, complete and wholehearted fidelity, or the act of binding oneself to a course of action. In comic book number 1, it's Aquaman's dedication to stopping the fire trolls that enable him to overcome water deprivation, being shrunk to the size of a mouse, and nearly being crushed under a fiery fist. Compassion. A feeling of deep sympathy and sorrow for those who are stricken with misfortune, accompanied by a strong desire or action to alleviate the suffering. In the New 52 Justice League, issue 4, 3.9, Aquaman spares Green Lantern's life after Green Lantern ambushes Aquaman in an attempt to lead the Justice League. Valor. Courage exhibited in war and cannot be applied to single combats. In Aquaman Rebirth issue 2, we once again find our hero and Black Manta eye to eye after Aquaman finally secures peace between the Atlanteans and the humans. Selfless. The quality of unselfish concern for the welfare of others and acting with less concern for yourself. In issue 18 of the New 52, Aquaman returns to the throne to rule the underworld and still fighting for good in the Justice League. Conviction. A fixed or strong belief, a necessity of the mind, or an unshaken belief. While fighting for justice and the good of mankind, Aquaman emerges as one of the most powerful heroes in the DC Universe in issue H 2.0 of the DC Universe Rebirth series. Gallantry. Adventurous courage which courts danger with a high and cheerful spirit. Issue 52 of the New 52 has Aquaman taunting the villain Deadwater, who is seeking revenge on Aquaman. Perseverance. A persistent determination. When it comes to Atlantis, Aquaman will go to any lengths to defend it, including going one-on-one with Scavenger in issue 23 of the New 52. Fortitude. Passive courage, and consists in the habit of encountering danger and enduring pain with a steadfast and unbroken spirit. Despite the loss of his arm, Aquaman begins his new reign as King of the Underworld and pledges to protect the city at any cost. Bravery. Daring and impetuous courage, like that of one who has reward constantly in view, and displays his courage in daring acts. Starro, an aquatic creature, threatens the land, but Aquaman can't control him like he does all the other sea life. Nevertheless, Aquaman fights gallantly with no powers to bring down Starro in issue number 8 of the Justice League. Flaw. Often concealed that mars the perfection of something. This imperfection often causes vulnerability. After shedding the water deprivation weakness, Aquaman has very little flaw other than this guy. Come on, he looks like Freddy from Scooby-Doo. Okay, Storm can be considered a flaw too. The 1970s heroes were delivered in comic books and viewed in cartoons to a generation of youth. That same audience is still a large part of the media's consumer today. As the audience grew, so did the heroes, who are now shared with their children as a rite of passage and is being delivered in a big way.